Greetings, adventurers. It's Chris, aka Nas, with new adventures in Skyrim, and today we're acting out of character and focusing on some mod love. This is both a new episode in terms of the mod that I'm reviewing, but also in the formalized informal system that I'm going to be utilizing to review mods. And I've broken it down to a very complicated system called the IDIUTT system. IDIUTT. For context, this is not a cumulative system and doesn't reflect if a mod is good or bad. It assesses its value to me as a player and a role player, and from my perspective. So if you're an idiot like me, this should be simple enough. What I hope you'll see in laying out the categories this way, exploring the mods this way, and referencing just this one mod itself, that you see the broad spectrum and varieties of ways that mods can be used and how different they can be used by different people. But now let's go on to the IDIUTT system, starting with Immersion. This is about the mod adding immersion, and to what degree. A low score on this indicates nothing to do about a mod's quality, importance, or desirability, etc. It simply reflects if the mod has anything to do with role-playing, and then if so, to what degree it does. SkyUI, for example, is an all but essential mod in my eyes. I see no reason not to use it, but it would get a 0 score in immersion, as it has absolutely nothing to do with immersion, but it's still an amazing, one-of-a-kind mod. Dependency. This reflects the, type of dependencies the mod has with and integrated with other mods. Some mods you can just plug and play. Some mods require other mods to already be installed, and some mods will require other mods to install. I prefer it simple. I prefer simple mods with little to no dependencies. So I'm rating that for anyone who's similar in that regard. For dependency, this gets a 5, as it requires nothing. Interface, also known as ease of use. This is about how much is required to use a mod once you install it. Again, this is not a bad thing to have a low score in that some mods are just naturally more robust than others and have more options and are less simple. Some are just static and blanket affect everything. Some you have to do a lot of tweaking and setting up and are designed to make the game a more personal experience. So again, this is not a bad thing. A 0 score means if you use this mod, you will have to set stuff up. If you have a 5 score, it means you can pretty much just install this mod and hardly know it's there and play, and it's all set and optimized. SkyUI gets a 5 here. You can install it and just go. It's normalized and default settings are pretty streamlined, and in fact, as you'll see below, I've never done any actual tweaking on this mod at all. Universality. Simply put, is this mod a niched, unique mod for certain situations or an all-around mod? SkyUI would be highly universal, whereas a Vampire Lord mod will get lower, in that if I don't have a roleplay where a character is a vampire, it's kind of useless. And this, again, doesn't indicate good or bad, just if it's situational or universal. Some of my favorite and most used mods are very situational, and I pick them for each roleplay, while I have what I consider my core mods that I have kind of going along with all of my other packages. SkyUI gets a 5 here, as there is no reason not to use this in every playthrough. Our next category is time. Just an indicator of if I use the mod a lot and to what degree. So this is a combination of how long I've used the mod and how often I use it. Just a frame of reference to how well acquainted I am or I am not with a mod. I've been using SkyUI for easily 4 years now and rate this a 5. Sometimes I see other players using vanilla interface and just no. And I get it, sometimes it's a system issue, but no. And tinkering. This is where I suffer the most, probably, from most mods. This is the more intricate part of experiencing a mod. This category is based on how much I've explored options, utilized different option sets, maybe experimented and looked into things a bit more. Some mods I use a lot. SkyUI is one of them. And one of the major selling points to SkyUI is the customizing ability, something I don't use since I don't tinker with it. And so I rate my hands-on time with this mod a 0 in spite of me having used it a lot. Again, I know there are a plethora of options and things to tweak and experiment with. I just don't use them. Now let's go through the MCM. As I mentioned, there are a lot of options and lots of things to work with here. Where things display, how they interact with certain other buttons, font sizes, layouts, orientations, transparencies, and like I said, I have not touched all of this. If you have the time and patience or cares a lot more, this is a wonderful thing to tweak and play with. And you can, again, I'm sure, accentuate certain visual aspects of role plays. I just don't depend on my interface for that, as I try to obviously now avoid screens and do hotkeys and things like that. Leave the screen hopping to when things are calmed down and I can do that. So that's just my experience. So in closing, on the idiot scale, respectively, this gets a 0 in immersion, a 5 in dependency, a 5 in interface, a 5 in universality, a 5 in time, and a 0 in tinkering. So I hope this was a fun and engaging review of the mod. There will be more to come in this style and format, and I'm excited about it. So thank you, idiots, for coming and going through some mods with me. And we'll see you in the next adventure or the next time we start acting out of character. And until then, take care of yourselves and the ones you love, and cheers.